I find it really ironic that I'm making a video about my thoughts of Red vs. Blue Zero while I'm wearing my Locust shirt, who I wanted in Red vs. Blue Zero, so we're just gonna see what happens at this point. Hey everyone, my name is Aaron Gray, and I'm probably making a video that you didn't want, but here I am anyway, because it's a video I wanted to make. So deal with it. So today we're going to be talking about Red vs. Blue Zero and my thoughts after watching the whole season. Minor disclaimer, this video isn't going to go into specific details about specific episodes or anything of the sort or anything nitpicky. These are just general thoughts and ideas, pros and cons for the entire season as a whole. With that in mind, if you have not watched the entire season, I highly recommend you do so because I will be spoiling some aspects of the show. You can go ahead and watch all 8 episodes on Rooster Teeth's website. So I do have a pros and cons list and then overall ranking at the very end of this video. So we're going to start with the pros. So first and foremost, the show is visually pleasing to watch. Sure, there are a few errors or areas where the rendering does not look complete, but that is to my untrained eye. I am not an animator. I don't know anything about animation or how it works or how it's supposed to look. So there's just a couple of parts where it doesn't look like it was fully rendered. That could just be me, it didn't look visually appealing in certain parts, but overall, 95% of the show was visually pleasing to look at, and that includes the fight scenes. The fight scenes were really well done. If you didn't know, I did martial arts for 8 to 9 years, so I do have kind of an idea of how fight scenes should look and how they should feel. They felt well done, and they also looked really good. They were pleasing to watch. They had a nice flow to them, which sometimes is really hard to master if you're not familiar with fighting or fight styles or choreographing fights. They looked well done. They had a really good flow to them. It felt natural. Like, some of the movements felt natural. So overall, it was visually pleasing to watch. Same with the fight scenes entirety. There was a few clunky things, especially with the machinima stuff that they tried to do. You could tell over the course of the episodes that they were slowly getting better at it. I think if this creative team were to have another season of doing whatever they wanted with Red versus Blue, I think the machinima would look better because they've had more experience. I also do like how they use different Halo armor sets and colors, because Raymond is Burger and forever will be Burger in my eyes. I do like the utilization of different helmets and different armor types and styles. It makes their characters unique and not I don't want to say carbon cutouts, but they're more distinguishable and they're more custom because Halo is a pretty customizable game, especially once you get to Halo 4 and 5. So I like how they customized them a little more and made them more unique to who they are. And my last pro for this season was that there wasn't really a cliffhanger. Like, there kind of is with what happens to Zero. We don't really know what happens to him. Is he dead? Is he just being tortured by the Black Lotus? We don't really know. Or is he the Black Locust? Because I'm wearing a Black Locust t-shirt. So there is kind of a cliffhanger, but not to the point where it's like a definitive cliffhanger, so it can be up to interpretation, or it could be a tiny bit of room for them to start a sequel, season 2 of Zero if they really wanted to. But also at the same time, there isn't really a cliffhanger, so they can go wherever they want to with the next season of Red vs. Blue. So I know some people are probably asking if I'm going to talk about the music for the show. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of rap. I would have to wait for the OST to officially drop and myself to listen to the OST in depth without the show referencing it or persuading my opinions of the music. So currently, that's like my neutral ground. I don't like rap, but like I'm being open to it. I'd have to listen to it on its own for me to determine if I like it. I don't know about the orchestral scores yet because there are orchestral scores in this season. I would have to listen to those again outside of the season in order to determine if I like them or not. So that's my neutral ground. Neutral ground is the music. So my biggest con for this season is that the writing is not where it should be. And I think that's also why the pacing, people are having issues with the pacing. I had issues with the pacing. A lot of people have issues with the writing and pacing altogether. And I firmly believe that the pacing would have naturally been better if the writing had been better, which also coincides to there isn't a good balance between the fighting and dialogue. If you look back to other seasons of Red vs. Blue, I think they had a really good balance of the two. That also could be determined by the plot. There is a lot of fight scenes in this, a lot of flashy, quick things happening, where most of the episodes are fighting and not a lot of cool down, let's talk about things, let's develop the characters. I feel like that's what's really missing from Red vs. Blue Zero, is that we really don't know the characters. Carolina in episode 2 did a whole exposition dump on the entirety of Shatter Squad and who they are. I feel like that would have been much better to reveal through showing us rather than telling us. And it's usually a common thing you tell writers. You want to show your audience rather than tell your audience. Telling your audience is usually a novice writer to do. They're just like dump exposition on you to tell you what's happening. But you should show your audience what's happening instead of telling them. For example, I think it would have been more impactful for the show itself if it was revealed later on through a showing moment that West is the father of East. I think that would have been much more exciting. I think it would have been more of a gasp moment if Carolina wasn't telling us, and if it was shown to us by a relation, connection, or it came out through dialogue of, West, why do you care so much about East? It's like, well, because like that's my daughter, cut to black, or something like that. That's just one example. There are probably other things I can think of, but that's the first one that comes to mind about the writing and showing versus telling. Of course, there's definite points where you do want to tell something instead of showing something, but usually you should go with showing. And another issue with the writing is that there's a lot of questions that we have and not a lot of answers. Like, we don't really know why Zero wanted this ultimate power. I mean, we can kind of guess from the final episode because he doesn't want to be used anymore, but we don't know where that all stems from. Where is that coming from? And unless if they're planning on elaborating on that in a later season, through the potential cliffhanger, you kind of should wrap that up at the end of the season. And explain why. And I don't really feel like I know a lot of the characters themselves. Like, I feel like I know Raymond the most, but that's because he's the comic relief guy, and not through just seeing them interact with one another. It feels like a lot of it just feels like a blur, sadly. I have other nitpicks, pros and cons wise, more cons. But I'm not really going to discuss them here because I believe I'm collaborating with a friend of mine named Danny on doing a video essay about Red vs. Blue Zero, which I believe we'll be going more in depth about the show. I'm trying to keep this as general as possible, and not getting into too nitpicky things. So my overall rating for Red vs. Blue Zero is a 4 out of 10, probably my least favorite season of Red vs. Blue, and that includes Blood Gulch Chronicles, and I'm not really a big fan of Blood Gulch Chronicles, really, but the humor was spot on there. It kind of hurt a little bit that this show didn't make me cry, because I cry easy, so if it didn't make me cry, something's wrong. And I firmly believe that the show had a lot of potential to be fantastic. Like, I kind of want to like the characters. I kind of already like Raymond. I think Axel's pretty chill. I think Zero's pretty interesting of a villain, and I would like to learn more. But because the characters weren't as fleshed out as they should have been, I have no attachment to them, and I don't feel the need to be attached to them. So I feel like the show has a lot of potential. It looks visually great, it's just the writing just isn't where it should be. So that is it for this video. I'm trying to keep this short and not on the lengthy side, so hopefully in post-editing I can see that happen. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know your thoughts of Red vs. Blue Zero in the comments below. Let's try to keep it civil. I know people are heated about this new season, and I am in the process of writing RvB Season 18, not actually for Rooster Teeth. Even though Rooster Teeth, if you want to hire me, that's perfectly fine. Please, thank you, goodbye. So if you have ideas for what you wanted Season 18 to look like, when we were all speculating on what's going to happen, what we want to happen, like aka Grimmins, Locust becoming a red, or something else entirely, Also, let me know down in the comments below. I'll also put a Google Forms somewhere in the comment section or in the description of this video, so you can let me know what you would like to see in a novelization of season 18 or what should have theoretically happened. And that is it. I will see you guys in another video at some point. Subscribe, click on my links in different areas. Thanks guys for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye!